Welcome to this edition of Coffee Coaching. I'm Andrea Sittig-Rolf, Chief Blitzmaster and CEO of Sittig Incorporated and creator of the Blitz Experience. If you've decided to be more targeted in your approach in an effort to improve your close ratio by targeting ideal clients in your prospecting activities, consider sending a mailer first before calling prospects as a way to introduce yourself. Typically, mass mailers garner an average response rate of about 1%, which increases to 3% when followed up with a phone call. While I don't necessarily agree with sending mass mailers to thousands of prospects as a way to get a response, I do recommend sending mailers that are targeted to a finite group of prospects who have already been somewhat qualified as ideal for the products and services you sell. If you're diligent in creating your ideal client profile and take the time to define exactly who your target audience is, sending a high-end, targeted mailer can be very effective. A high-end mailer is one that is typically more expensive per piece to mail, but because it's more targeted to your ideal prospects, it gains a higher response rate than having the same budget for a mailer divided by thousands of prospects. The best type of mailer to actually get a response from your prospects, meaning they pick up the phone and call you as a result of your mailer, is one that contains two parts of something that are required to be together in order to work. Let me explain what I mean. Years ago, I worked with a colleague named Kim who used to be a mortgage broker. He shared a story with me about a specific mailer he did for one client he had tried repeatedly to get in front of but had no luck using the more traditional methods of direct mail, cold calling, and various marketing techniques. He decided to get very specific in his approach, and it worked like a charm. Here's what he did. So, for example, I'll use the name Joe to represent the prospect in this example. My colleague Kim called Joe's assistant and asked two questions. The first was, what is Joe's favorite brand of shoes? And the second was, what size shoe does he wear? Next, my colleague bought a pair of shoes matching the description given to him by Joe's assistant. Now here's where it gets interesting. He then sent one shoe to Joe in the shoebox with a note that said something like, meet with me next Tuesday at 10 and I'll bring the other shoe. Keep in mind that Kim had spoken with Joe on the phone and sent various mailers and emails, so Joe, the prospect, was familiar with my colleague Kim. Joe had previous information and knowledge about the products and services Kim could provide for him, so there was no need to offer more of an explanation in the note rather than just meet me at Tuesday at 10 and I'll bring the other shoe. Well, as you can imagine, Kim finally got the meeting with Joe and was able to seal the deal after starting the process with Joe by getting that first meeting. Brilliant. The next example I'll share is from another colleague of mine, Heidi, who years ago did a very targeted mailer to a finite group of 100 prospects she knew in advance, met her ideal client profile. Along the same lines as what Kim did, she mailed part of something that required another part in order to work properly. Here's what Heidi did. She mailed a remote control Hummer toy vehicle without the remote control. Because Heidi was sending a mailer to people she did not know, she included an introductory letter that explained who she was, who her company was, and had a clever tagline like, "Get on the road to success with us." The letter also explained that by simply scheduling a meeting with her, the prospect would then receive the remote control that accompanied the Hummer. This mailer garnered an astounding 64% response, which is unheard of as mailers go. The beauty of mailers such as what I've described is that the item you include in the mailer doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your products and services. The point is to get the prospect's attention by doing something different from your competitors. Start brainstorming on how a mailer you could send to your targeted prospects by writing down as many items as you can that require two parts to work together. Keep in mind the size of the item you send as it will affect shipping rates and the overall expenses associated with your mailer. Send one of the two parts of the item with a note that lets the prospect know they'll receive the other part of what you've sent by meeting with you to discuss their business and how your products and services will be of benefit. Thanks for watching. Join us again for another edition of Coffee Coaching.